Welcome to the Space Limited Accomplishments Interval. My name is Lance Ash, and with me today, as usual, is Bonnie.
Hello.
Okay, and due to the overwhelmingly positive response that we received about the longer episode last week, we're going to continue with that trend. So we're going to be doing 30 minutes, and plus that'll make it easier on me to keep track on the clock of when 30 minutes is. All right. So we'll begin by summarizing the weekend. Let's start with Bonnie this time. Okay, let's. How was your weekend?
Productive.
I know you were very busy.
Yes.
Okay, what were the things you did or got accomplished?
I've been working on clearing out paperwork, working on redoing the laundry room.
What'd you do in the laundry room?
I painted it blue.
You did a very good job too, and you moved a bunch of blue matching fixed. Oh, what do you call it?
Accessories.
Accessories, right?
Tchotchkes. Yeah, things I had around the house. I haven't had a blue room in a house. It's the last house we lived in, and that was how many years ago?
Going to, well, it's 17 in a few months.
Years ago. God, yeah. So, I really miss having something blue.
This is the longest I've ever lived in one particular place.
Me too.
When I was a kid, I would go visit some other kid, and is that a buzzard going down in that ditch? What is that? Yeah, it is down in that. He must have found something. Anyway, if I went to go visit some other kid at his house, if they lived there a while, it always seemed to have this laundry smell. I could tell if the house was old and lived in because it had ingrained laundry smell in the air.
I never noticed that in anyone's house.
Well, today's houses are just cookie cutter out of a magazine showpieces. So, but old-fashioned houses, different. I'll tell you about. Okay, anything else about your weekend?
I bought myself some clothes.
Yeah. Oh, slow down. There's a deer. Slow down. There's a deer. See him?
I see the deer.
Yeah. All you need now is a beret, and you'll have the look complete. Yeah, I like your new pants, bell-bottom-ish, and the sort of peasant blouse. Really nice looking. It's about time you want some new nice things for yourself.
I'm tired of looking like a schlub, and that's the way I felt.
Frump. The word is frump.
Frump, schlub, Hausfrau. Just want something different.
And tell them what we did together.
Woo! We watched a movie and had dinner together. Dinner and a movie. We watched one of our favorites, Tampopo, and we had vegetarian egg rolls from the Chinese restaurant. And vegetable lo mein and fried tofu with that. And what else?
Ramen.
Oh, ramen, of course. We had ramen.
And I thought that's all we were going to have was the ramen and the egg rolls, but you brought the lo mein, and so I got a little more full than I expected to get.
I bought a dozen egg rolls. Those alone should have filled you up.
Yeah.
So, you had 6 of them. I had 4 over lunch and dinner. And then Peter had 2. And he had an entire batch of lo mein to himself, and it was a dinner-sized portion, whereas you and I split our dinner-sized portion of lo mein.
Well, I haven't sat down and watched a movie start to finish in I don't know how long.
Yeah, in front of a TV, on a couch, start to finish, with nothing but bathroom breaks, of course.
I didn't even take a bathroom break.
I took 1 bathroom break.
Which is odd for me, but...
It was a really good movie. And I was amazed that I remembered a lot more of it than you did.
Well, I think I've only seen it twice before.
Oh, God, I've seen it 3, 4, 5 times.
And the funny thing is, when I first watched it, you had already seen it. Because when...
Link?
No, I don't. I think we got it at the library. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we did rent it from Link. But anyway, because the opening of the movie where the hero gets his ass beat by that group of guys, I was like, oh, he's going to go out there and kick their ass. And you're like, no, he's no Superman. And it's such a great movie.
Oh, it is. It's lovely. It's a basic cowboy movie in Tokyo.
And Ken Watanabe, before he was known here, is in it. Very young.
Yeah, he played God.
He's the hero's sidekick. And yeah, it's a great movie. And but anyway, so that was a lot of fun. But I had a good weekend because I just started the new program with my life and art career, where I just don't worry about stuff. And I didn't get a whole lot of painting done, but I just took it easy and everything went very nicely. Didn't get upset. Had some very good meditation sessions and played guitar really well. And something else.
I did 2 tax returns this weekend, so that was something productive.
Yeah. I don't even know. I wouldn't even know where to begin with doing something like that.
It's a pain in the ass. I got to do another one next weekend.
I would just wait and let the IRS tell me what they want me to pay, and you know. Oh, there was something did happen. I can't remember what it was. Well, anyway, let's just forego that, and we'll move on to.
Ding dong, the witch is dead.
Oh, Rush Limbaugh's dead.
Woohoo!
And the funny.
Which brings us to your favorite quote by Rush Limbaugh, which is.
Oh, back. Okay. First of all, let's back up a second. All right. Even though I've been an atheist since I was 20, I still remained a conservative up until, I'll say, 96 or 7. But I used to listen to Rush Limbaugh's radio show when I was out on my route, working at UGA as a carrier. And this was during the whole, what's the word, Farrago? No, the flap about Bill Clinton getting a blowjob and then lying about it, and there was all this investigation. Okay. So Rush says, I just want to thank Bill Clinton for bringing this tawdry mess into our living rooms, for making a situation, having these topics discussed on the nightly news, and we're arriving at a situation where a little child will go to his mother and say, "Mommy, what's oral sex?" And anyway, it's just really funny what a blazing hypocrite he was. And I used to like him. And I'll tell you something, the station I listened to him on, this is back when Sean Hannity was a radio had a radio show out of an Atlanta station, and he had the hour, I guess, preceding Rush's show. And I remember one time he called into Rush's show right after he ended his show. It was like, "Oh, Mr. Limbaugh, it's such a privilege and honor to, do the lead-in to your show here on our local station." And he's like, "Oh, don't worry about it, Sean. You've got a rising career, and one day you'll be a big deal, and blah, blah." And Sean Hannity wound up making way more money per year than Rush. I actually met Sean Hannity many, many years ago. A friend of mine used to sell, he had a job with a pyramid scheme corporation selling Christian cartoons at malls. And so they had what do you call it? it wasn't a convention. It was at a convention center, but it was like a motivational gathering, where they would have speakers saying, "I made $200,000 last year, and you can too, just by kissing ass and doing what you're told." Anyway, they invited Sean Hannity to speak, and he didn't know what in the hell he was supposed to be speaking about. All he knew, he had been promised, a couple thousand to come and speak at this thing. So he just rambled about the values of Christian spirituality in our lives, and you're doing a good job by spreading this word through animated versions of Bible stories. And so afterwards, I went up to him and I talked to him for a second, and I told a little, I don't remember what I said, but I told a little joke that made him laugh, just like tick, tick, chuckle. And so I was always proud about that. And now, I wish I stuck a disease-ridden tick on his neck. But anyway, what are we going to talk about for another 19 minutes? Well, we just need to start having a theme for the show. Like
food movies.
Oh, well, or movies in general. I mean, that's the way it played out. But
what was the food movie? The Chinese one with the guy that is losing his.
It's Eat, Drink, Man, Woman, and it's a great movie.
He has 3 daughters?
He has 3 daughters, and
one's a Christian,
or is it 4? I think it's 3 daughters. Anyway, yeah, one is a Christian, and one of my favorite lines in the movie is, she can't find a man, and she's a school teacher, and finally she falls in love with the new gym teacher, and so they start dating, and she wants to move him towards getting married, and I think one of her sisters says to her, but he's not a Christian. And she goes, he will be, which I always thought was a good line. But it's a cute movie. I warn you, though, if you go look it up, you'll have to read it, because it's in Chinese, and the subtitles are at the bottom. And I'll tell you a related story to that. I think Das Boot is a great movie.
Oh, God, yeah.
But it's in German, so you have to read it. Now, I rented the copy from somewhere and then loaned it to my dad. And he brought it back, and he's like, yeah, it's really good. It took me a little bit to get used to reading it, but after that, I liked it. I'm like, okay, well, good. I thought, well, maybe his brother would like to watch it. And so I loaned it to him, and he didn't like it. And I don't know if it's because he had to read it, or if because it has some really raunchy scene. It's a really raunchy couple of scenes at the beginning of the movie when they're having a big drunken blowout before they have to ship out, whatever it is. But some people have a really hard time with foreign films because they have to read them, and they don't like reading. The whole point of watching something is not reading. Anyway, can we turn the heat on? It's a little bit cold in here. There you go. Whew. There you go. That'll make a good white noise background for us talking. You turned. Okay.
Do you remember the scene in Das Boot where the vegetables are beginning to go off? They're underwater for so long that their fresh veg goes off. And they have wilted lettuce they're trying to do things with and such.
Yeah, they're having to scrape mold off stuff. And there's a scene. I'll tell you, there's a really good scene in that movie where they meet up with another ship so they can get some supplies. And only the captain and I think his first mate or one of his assistants is allowed to go on board up deck to meet with the officers on the other ship. And they've got this big banquet laid out for them to receive them. And everybody's in their dress uniforms, and they're all clean shaven, and they come up, they're all ragged and bearded. And they're like, oh, welcome, you're the real heroes of the war, and blah, blah. And so they go up to this table laden with food, and the captain, played by Jürgen Prochnow, reaches out and he's like, it's a fig. And I've never had figs before, and he tastes it and he's like, this is good. And I can't remember if that's what he says that prompts this or not, but the captain of the other ship puts out his arm towards him, indicating him, and he looks at his other man and he goes, "This, gentlemen, these are the words of a real hero." And I thought, it encapsulated so many things in that little one scene, one little bit of dialogue.
It wasn't until I met you that I started eating figs, and now I love figs.
You're the one who, when we first started dating, you're the one who introduced me to dried figs.
Mission figs. I gave you mission figs.
Yeah.
You had said that you liked them.
Uh-huh.
And that's why I gave them to you. Figs have been a thing that we eat on and off now.
Well, I grew up eating fresh figs because we had a big fig tree behind my grandmother's house. And had you ever eaten fresh figs before?
I don't recall. I really don't. I don't remember anything. I mean, I remember shunning the figgy bars.
Really?
Yeah. And I don't know why I did. But now it's like we have the two giant fig trees. So we have the option of getting figs if we ever go out in the heat. And then we get those, they're nearly crystallized sometimes, those figs that we get in the little small round packets. But this past time at DeKalb, we got the dried figs from the DeKalb Farmers Market, and they were amazing.
Yeah, the ones that they package themselves are cheaper by the pound than those prepackaged things in the little round assemblies. They're turkey figs.
Yeah, brown turkey figs.
There's Kalamyrna figs, mission figs, and turkey figs. And these are turkey figs dried, and they're really, really good. And what I love about them is all you got to do is bite that little bit of stem off and spit it out, and the rest of it's like nature's candy.
So good.
Oh. What?
Remember what I made this year? Plum tart.
I don't remember if it was good. It seems like I remember it being good.
Plums and blueberries. It was a very moist cake. The cake was almost like bread pudding. It was so moist. And I had laid it out in a pan. I'd sliced all the plums. And so they were in a fan type of spiral on the cake. And then mixed in with the cake itself were the blueberries, and that was amazing. And I just happened to get a 3-pound bag of figs from plums from Aldi, and thought, what am I going to do with these? We can't eat all these. And so I tried the plum cake.
Dried plums?
No, they were fresh plums. They were amazing.
I don't remember that.
Oh my God.
I don't remember buying fresh plums.
I did. You don't go shopping anymore. What with COVID and stuff.
Well, it's not just that. I don't have time to waste pooting around town and.
Well, I don't either, dear, but I do it after I, am running another errand somewhere else.
The version of Tampopo that we watched was a DVD that we bought in the mail. And I don't want to buy any more DVDs, but we need to find a way to watch some of Juzo Itami's other films.
A Taxing Woman.
Taxing Woman is great.
Did he do The Funeral?
And The Funeral. I want to see The Funeral again because it's such a bizarre movie.
The scene going to?
Well, the movie is about this guy who is a television personality, and his wife is too, I think. But anyway, he finds out that his father's dead, so they have to drive back to the little town where he lived, and they have to have a traditional funeral. And they don't know anything about having a traditional funeral, so they have to hire all these people and stuff. But anyway, there's one thing about Itami's films is that he'll throw in a lot of little details or scenes that are reminiscent of other genres into the films. In general, they're comedies, but like Tampopo has a lot of references to like spaghetti westerns and some other stuff. But in The Funeral, there's this scene where they're driving back and it's a blinding rainstorm, and the main guy in the movie is driving his car with his wife, and his manager is in another car driving beside them in the middle of this rainstorm, and he's eating a sandwich. They have like a box of little like sandwich halves, and either I can't remember who passes what to who, but the manager wants a sandwich too, so he sees him, he's eating the sandwich, and he nods at him like, you got any more? And it's like, yeah, but it's all wordless. They don't say anything, and they roll down the windows, and they're going like 70 miles an hour in the rain, and they make this dangerous pass of a sandwich to the other one, sticking their arms out the windows, and once it's completed, it goes back to what's the guy's name, the actor, but anyway, the TV guy, and he's got the sandwich in his mouth about to bite into it, and he looks at his manager and nods like, what a manly thing we've just done, and they eat it like, Arr! It's really good scene. I tell you, another good scene in that movie is the main character is having an affair with some woman that lives in that little town, and he takes her out in the woods, and they're having sex. Meanwhile, his wife is back at the house, and she's on this swing, and she knows what's going on. You can see it in her eyes. So she's swinging back and forth, and it cuts back and forth between her swinging and the rhythm of the sex. It's out, and it's like bam, 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 back and forth. It's really good.
The swing is set up in such a way that it's like a piece of lumber.
It's like a log.
And it's held on chains at each end.
Yeah.
And it goes sideways. She's swinging sideways. She's standing on it, and her hands are outstretched to either side. And it's the way you swing it is moving those ropes. It was a really cool scene.
Yeah. There's a lot of good scenes in that movie. I haven't seen that in probably 20 years. I haven't seen Tampopo since we moved into this house, I believe.
Well, we had a copy of it on video. I taped it off of television. We had cable at some point at the old house, and it came on some station, and I recorded it, and so I had it, and I've watched it a couple times since, and of course, inspired to eat some sort of food, ramen or whatever, and so I would do that each time I ate. So I guess maybe my memory was facilitated by the food itself, bringing back those memories.
The reason I got into watching all those Japanese movies is because at the time I was studying Japanese, and I bought flashcards, kanji flashcards, and I had memorized the hiragana and katakana and all this business, and I'd read big books about the history of Japan and all this stuff, but I got far enough into it that I realized the enormity of the task, and
you went back to German.
I just dropped it. And
you went back to German.
Yeah, and a little while later I decided, I got to learn a foreign language before I die, so I decided, I'll start with German, because I'd studied it before a little bit, dabbled in it, and
Isla, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a German correspondence course through the university, and I just was floundering.
A girlfriend?
It was a girl I hung out with for one day. Okay. Anyway, but so Yeah. So anyway, New Year's Day, after I turned 40, I decided I'm going to go all in on learning German, and I'm going to do it. So I pursued it. I've pursued it now for over 11 years. And so I finally got pretty good at reading it anyway. Now speaking it...
Well, heute schon. You are pretty...
Well, there's certain German shows available on YouTube. We used to watch Tatortmünster. But the main one is when I discovered Olaf Schubert, I started watching stuff with him in it. And so the funny thing is I haven't listened to Rammstein in a while, but I've been listening to these shows. And the other day we listened to the recent Rammstein album, and I was amazed at how much of the lyrics I was able to pick up just by not by having memorized them, but just listening to them. It's interesting. By the way, I brought the previous Rammstein album tonight, so we can listen to that later. What a clever band. I thought it was interesting that Olaf Schubert has a new show called Gipfeltreffen, where he and these two other guys, they answer silly questions with silly answers. And they had the keyboard player on the show a couple episodes back, and they mentioned something about Rammstein the other day that led me to believe that it's just an accepted thing, that they're a great band and that they like them and blah blah blah. And that kind of...
They're the biggest German band in the world, aren't they?
Yeah, not only the biggest German band in the world, but they're one of the biggest bands worldwide. Now, not here in America, because they refuse to sing in English.
And they're definitely one of the biggest metal bands.
Yeah.
Freaking awesome.
But I just thought it was interesting that, because all three of these guys are only 4 or 5 years older than I am, which is the same age that everybody in Rammstein is, the members. So... it just was interesting to me that type of music would be popular with people that I consider to be intellectual comedians. I guess it shouldn't be a surprise, but there it is. The thing about Rammstein is not only is the music heavy, but it's catchy, and not only that, but the whole...
Some of it's quite funny.
Yeah, some of it's funny, but what's so great about it is that they have a measure of self-awareness in their public presentation of themselves.
Yeah,
like, for instance, they know that the singer, Till Lindemann, is a big guy and he has an oversized presence, and naturally being the singer, he's the front man. So in the videos, they mock that sort of idea.
But they also have the nerd in the group.
Yeah, the keyboard player's like the nerd, so every single video, he stands out. He's always the one that's different. Like in the video for Auslander, he's the one that gets left behind on the island. In Ich Will, when they rob the bank, he's the one left behind with the bomb strapped to him. In the one where they're firemen, he's the one jumping off the building. And it's very interesting.
He's in the wheelchair when they're all...
That's right.
Obese.
That's right. And
they have him completely disabled. They're all blundering, bulbous buffoons,
right.
And he is this little wasted waif of a man confined to a wheelchair.
Yeah, it's such a they have such a
it's not dynamic that they play up.
But it's also that they're self-aware, that they know how they appear.
Well, there's also the other part of them that isn't just the humor, it's the poetry. They will take stories of German mythology, or they will take poems and other famous myths, and they'll include those kind of things. The one about the guy going up the mountain,
Yeah.
Was it with a rose?
That's Rosen Road. That is, yeah, there's a connection between something else. I can't remember what the other thing is.
And Rotasand is
Yeah.
Old story about...
Well, it's a traditional story of people having a duel over some woman.
A woman, yeah.
All right, we're approaching the end of the show. I wish we could keep going, but that's it. All right. So, anything else?
No.
All right, so that's it. That's it. Bye-bye.